Hello everyone, I'm Dave Bocking. Welcome to another pre-modern recording. This is a game replay. I'm facing zombies in this deck as an elf deck. My elf deck is the main deck I played, but again, feel free to in the comments. I can play any deck, so let me know if you want to hear, if you want me to play a different deck, and I'm more than happy to do that as well. So anyway, here's a game replay. Let me know too if you want to see live matches. I can record live matches as well, but I prefer, personally, if I were to watch a video, I would rather just see a replay because it's faster. So you can just get down. You can get down to the bare bones of what's going on. But if you'd like to do live matches too, maybe the suspense, whatever, like I'm happy to record those as well. So anyway, I win the die roll, and this is my opening hand. And again, this is probably like a bad hand for an elf deck. We don't have a turn one dork, but again, I'm on the play, so like you have to understand that like the Wall of Roots basically serves as a dork, and the Gaia's Cradle is you'd be surprised, it's really good. So like having a Cradle in your hand is often really good. So I keep the hand mainly because of the Cradle. And the Wall of Roots, and really all this deck needs at this point is something like yes, any survival, any it's not going to be too hard to draw something good here. So especially so it's not terrible. The color is pretty bad, but usually I prefer the hands. I don't really mind the hands with a lot of lands, especially against an unknown opponent. So yes, this hand is probably, I could see an argument to mulligan this hand, but really, it's you know it's definitely a close call. I would say on the dried mulligan for sure, but on the play, it's sort of like you're gonna have a lot of mana turn three, and so it's often not bad. So anyway, I start off by getting a forest, and I guess I could have waited with the fetch land, but you know, I like to just fetch because I want to thin out the deck. I don't want to draw any more lands, so I just do it right away. I should have done it at the end of my opponent's turn, to be honest. But anyway, so I draw a forest and I play it, and it's good. I don't play this because I mean, maybe I should have played the fetch land because then I can just get the mountain with the Granger, so that's probably bad. I probably should have played the Wooded Foothills here instead of the forest I top decked, but um, anyway, so yeah, do that instead. Anyway, I play the Wall of Roots, and I'm really happy I kept this hand because again against zombies it's pretty good. You have the Wall of Roots is phenomenal as a blocker, so you can really see my tech in action in this matchup. So here I get a forest and I just play out the Granger. Probably I should have gotten a mountain there because I'm thinking I'll just get the mountain with the other Granger, but if for some reason I don't know, Cabal Therapy, and I don't know, it's loose, but it's possible you don't get the mountain. There's no need to have four forests, so that was probably a mistake. So then they edict, and this is why the Abbey's so good, because now it's like a 2-for-1. I get a land, and so it's I'm happy. Trading this for an edict plus getting a land is fine. It's great. Okay, and so they're gonna attack, and I'm taking minimal damage here. So here I draw a Land War Elves, and I had the Alkalite last turn. You have to see, like, see at this point in the game, right? Like, okay, I have 4 lands, so it's like eventually you're going to draw gas like Alkalite. You're just going to keep drawing. All I need to do is hit something, and now that I have a bunch of lands, it's pretty much like I have so much mana, it doesn't even matter if I have elves at this point. So, and then here I just decide to play the second Alkalite to thin out my, oh no, I never mind. I play a bunch of elves here, sorry. So I'm playing the Elves basically because, I don't think that they're on like at this point in main deck like things that kill the board. They won't be on Perish. They won't be on things like Engineered Plague. I'm guessing on the first game one. So I'm like, okay, if this were game two, I probably wouldn't have played out the Elves. But I'm thinking, it's not going to actually matter here. And so I just want to get the tempo, because now if I top deck something like Kamal, I just win the game next turn pretty much, or not next turn, but it's just gas at that point. So I go and I just play the other Granger, and I finally get my mountain, which probably I should have gotten earlier, but you know. Again, it also probably would have been good. I could have played these out because I had the Collar of the Claw. So if I thought my opponent was on some sort of sweeper effect, I probably, you know, it may not have been bad to play this out and then have the Collar in hand to just play, instead of playing the Granger, collaring in and recuperating. But I don't really, I mean, it's hard to say, because still you don't want necessarily to lose your Elves, but yeah, I thought this play was fine here. And you have to keep in mind too, right? Like at this point, so my opponent plays a hypnotic. You have to keep in mind right now what I have basically enough to top deck a Kamal and play it now, because these both contribute mana to the Cradle and also can potentially tap for mana. So I have enough mana at this point just with the Cradle and my Forests alone and Wall of Roots to play a Kamal and just go to town. So, you know, if I draw it, so this is why I played out the Elves here. So nothing too exciting here. I just pay all these upkeep costs. And I attack because, again, like, I don't really care. I know he's on Hippie, so, I at some point, I'm going to have to just play this. If he attacks with Hippie at this point, I'm just going to flash this in so I don't lose it. So at this point, I'm like, I'm going to attack here, because if he blocks, I can take two of his creatures off the board, or one or two of his creatures perhaps off the board. And then if these die, then I can just get some tokens back, and it's more manageable this way. I'm sort of worried if he is on a few cards, but if he has some sort of Lord, or he starts, things could get out of control. I could have seen holding back with the Alkalite, because now, if I draw a Wirewood Symbiote, then all of a sudden, you can just save your Alkalite. So I can definitely see not holding back the Alkalite so it doesn't die. But again, I'm not necessarily, trading the Alkalite for a zombie is not too exciting, really. But if I were to do this again, probably I would just attack with the Granger. But my opponent just takes it. And there's always the chance that they're going to do that. They're just going to take the damage. So sometimes, like, it's good just to try sometimes the risk to get them at 16 life. I guess you can't see what life my opponent's at, but they're at 16 life right now because they just took 2. So in the future, I'll fix that so you only see that. But I don't want to show my opponent's name because it's like privacy, right? So, okay. But yeah, what I think I would do is just hold this back in the future, but they are at 16 life, which is good. Okay. So here they are going to pay the life. They're at 15 life for the Carnophage. Next game, I'm going to change the recording here. So... okay, they played Duress, and again, it doesn't work, so... now they play Hippie. And again, so here they're going to attack me, and I'm just going to flash in my color so I don't lose it. So here I draw a Cradle, and again, this time I'm smart enough not to attack with the Alkalite because, again, if I draw the Wirewood Symbiote, then that's just a way of winning the game. It's still, my opponent's at 15 life, I'm at 14 life, so technically I am losing the game right now. They have evasion. In this board state, I cannot win this board state with their 2 flyers, so, at this point, I do have a lot of outs, but basically keeping this alive turns the Wirewood Symbiote into an out. Without this, the Wirewood Symbiote is pretty useless. So I save the Alkalite in this case. And I save the Granger. No, I don't. Okay, yeah, good. This is the right call. Again, I'm attacking because now they're at 13, right? Like, you want to be aggressive still with this deck. My opponent's at 13. If I just wouldn't attack, they would still be at like, well, they would lose 1 life to the Carnophage. So they would be at, still at 19. So this is a big difference because now we're in territory of like, we're in Deranged Hermit territory now, where now they have to make blocks, potentially unfavorable blocks with a Deranged Hermit once their life gets pretty low. And at 19 life, they don't necessarily have to make unfavorable blocks. So it's always good to think about when you can attack. So again, I'm taking, 2 damage here, and it's getting really close. You have to understand I'm on a short clock, and drawing a Priest of Titania, it's fine. It's not going to cut it. I already had enough mana, but I mean, at least in this case, if I draw something like a Massacre, I can just wipe my opponent's board. Even though I would lose the Massacre next turn, but that's it, All right, see, this is the... So here I just sacrifice, my opponent pumps their Shade, I just sacrifice it. They use a Dark Ritual to pump it, which I'm not sure why, but I guess in case if I gang block it or something. But again, probably it would be better to wait until after blocks are assigned to do this effect. But okay, so I just chump block the Nantuko Shade, and I take 2. I'm now at 6 life. My opponent is at 13 life right now still. So I'm at 6 life, and then here I draw Biorhythm, and my opponent is at 13. And this is just like, is super lucky really, just by the skin of, just by 1 point of damage, because once I play the Biorhythm, right, I do also have to, so I can tap it with my land, so I don't have to tap any creatures. But this puts my opponent to 4 life and me at 5 life. And you can see they have 1 blocker, and they can block my highest thing. And this is exactly 2 damage. As you can see, if let's say one of my 2 power guys, you block the Multani's Alkalite, this is 4 damage exactly, which is exactly lethal. So it was very close. But I guess if I couldn't win this turn, then it would be very, I still wouldn't be dead, but again, I would probably be dead very soon because of this. So probably what I would have done is I probably would have waited a turn, let them attack me 1 more turn so that I could gain life from the Biorhythm, right? But fortunately, this was just enough. My opponent's at 4 life. It was just enough to win the game. And my opponent concedes. So yeah, I will see you in game 2.